WhatsApp, Telegram operators must be more responsible. Committee to ensure women entrepreneurs are not left behind. Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. You are watching Malaysia Tonight. I'm Otto Othman. Now, operators of Telegram and WhatsApp need to be more responsible in ensuring that no criminal misconduct is committed on the platforms. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadil said that based on reports from the Bukit Aman Sexual Women and Children Crime Investigation Division, WhatsApp is found to be widely misused for the purpose of sexual grooming. As for Telegram, Fahmi said there are problems allegedly involving the misuse of accounts for pornography and the sale of prohibited substances such as drugs. The ministry also has received many complaints about threatening messages and scammers on Telegram.
Tapi kita lihat platform-platform ini perlu lebih bertanggungjawab dan sekiranya mereka enggan mengambil tanggungjawab yang lebih besar, memastikan platform-platform mereka bebas daripada elemen-elemen jenayah, kita perlu pastikan mereka akur dengan undang-undang dalam negara kita.
He further said that the issue involving the two platforms are already under scrutiny by the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC), and appropriate action will be taken to ensure that the apps and the entire social media are safe for the community to use. Reports on missing persons have been on a static trend, recording about 900 cases every year since 2020. According to Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail, there has been no significant increase for almost 5 years now in cases of missing persons.
Jadi saya katakan bahawa daripada 2020 sampai Jun 2024, pattern laporan polis terhadap insiden orang hilang ini ialah kekal daripada kes orang hilang yang dilapor. Saya tengok persentage yang ditemui itu tinggi, antara 85 hingga 90%. Jadi kekal hilang itu sekitar 10-15%. Ini data 2020 hingga Jun 2024 terbaru saya dapat daripada Jabatan Siasatan Jenayah.
Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution said this in response to the case involving a 6-year-old girl who was found safe in Batang Kali, Selangor today after being reported missing at a shopping mall in Iskandar Puteri, Johor last Saturday. The minister said the commitment of the police and ministry was clear that in case involving a missing person was a serious matter and immediate action would be taken. Therefore, he said the public should play their role by lodging reports on any missing person to the police anytime, anywhere. Every police station across the country can take a missing person report. The Works Ministry is seeking an increase in allocation from the Ministry of Finance for development of innovation products, including patenting products created by the Innovative and Creative Group and Public Works Department (JKR). Deputy Works Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Maslan said the increased allocation is needed as the patenting cost of an innovation product is high and does not include production costs.
Dan saya harap setiap kali permohonan itu diberi pertimbangan yang wajar oleh pihak Kementerian Kewangan. Jadi kita selain pada agensi teknikal berinovatif ni, kita ada kekangan belanjawan untuk mematenkan produk. Saudara boleh bayangkan kita ada lebih 100 produk inovasi JKR yang boleh dikomersialkan baru 5 produk. Nampak daripada situ kekangan yang menyebabkan perkara tersebut ialah kekangan peruntukan untuk paten. Sepatutnya daripada 100 lebih produk, 50 ke berjaya dikomersialkan akibat daripada patenkan itu.
He also said the innovation products have the potential to be commercialized or adapted at the level of the Public Works Department, government or private agencies. The Sijil Tinggi Persekolahan Malaysia STPM 2023 results recorded a National Cumulative Grade Point Average or CGPA of 2.84, the highest since the examination was introduced. Malaysian Examinations Council MPM Chairman Professor Dato' Dr. Muhammad Ikhwan Toriman said the national CGPA has improved by 0.02 points from the 2.82 recorded the previous year. He also said that 1,116 candidates, or 2.7%, obtained a perfect 4-flat CGPA, a decrease of 68 candidates compared to 1,184 in 2022. Of these 1,116 candidates, 803 or 71.95% are from the B40 category. Terengganu maintained their outstanding STPM track record after obtaining 3.11 in their CGPA, overcoming the national result of 2.84. Candidates in Terengganu rural areas recorded a collective CGPA of 3.05, while those in urban areas were at 3.12. Dato' Dr. Muhammad Ikhwan said that in terms of overall achievement, 10% of the STPM 2023 candidates scored a CGPA of 3.75 and above, while 44.82% scored 3.00 and above. On the other hand, only 0.07% or 28 STPM 2023 candidates were not eligible to get their certificate this time around. Capital A Berhad Chief Executive Officer Tan Sri Tony Fernandez said relevant parties should have offered AirAsia Group compensation following the recent global IT outage. He said the relevant parties needed to be responsible for last Friday's situation which affected the airline services. Last Friday, major institutions including airlines, banks, media channels and hospitals in several countries were reportedly affected by the global IT outage linked to CrowdStrike Holdings Incorporated. CrowdStrike is an American cybersecurity technology company that provides endpoint protection, threat intelligence and cyber attack response services. Tony said the global IT outage has caused airlines to lose millions in revenue and has created chaos in people's lives due to system failure. In his speech, Tony noted that among the losses that AirAsia faces were ticket sales and 4 AirAsia domestic flights that were cancelled following the incidents. It was reported that AirAsia's operations stabilized at Terminal 2 of KL International Airport last Saturday and resumed its online check-in operation at 2 p.m. on the same day. The Court of Appeal today imposed the death sentence on 6 former students of Universiti Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia UPNM for the murder of Navy Cadet Officer Zulfarhan Osman Zulkarnain 7 years ago. The sentence was meted out after a 3-judge panel led by Judge Dato' Hadariah Syed Ismail allowed the prosecution's cross-appeal to reinstate Section 302 of the Penal Code initially faced by all the accused. The accused are Muhammad Akmal Zuhairi Azmal, Muhammad Azamuddin Ahmad Sofi, Muhammad Najib Muhammad Razi, Muhammad Afif Najmuddin Azahat, Muhammad Shobirin Sabri, and Abdul Hakim Muhammad Ali. Delivering the unanimous decision, Judge Hadariah stated that the High Court judge had erred in amending the original murder charge under Section 302 of the Penal Code to Section 304, subsection A of the Penal Code. Therefore, she said, sitting alongside Judges Muhammad Zaini Mazlan and Dato' Azmi Arifin, that the court allows the prosecution's appeal to set aside the amendment charge and reinstate Section 302 of the Penal Code. The accused were found guilty of deliberately causing injury to Zulfarhan to obtain a confession that he had stolen a laptop and were charged under Section 330 of the Penal Code, which provides for a maximum penalty of 7 years in prison and a fine upon conviction. All of them, now aged 28, were accused of committing the acts between 21st and 22nd May 2017. Government aims to cut its debt to GDP ratio to 60% in 5 years. The Investment, Trade and Industry Ministry, MITI, will ensure that ASEAN women entrepreneurs are not left behind with its latest initiative, the Women in Trade and Industry WITI program. Minister Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said WITI, a collaboration between the ministry and the Malaysian Women and Family Affairs Organisation, HAWA Malaysia, aims to enhance the capacity and capabilities of women in the industrial and export sectors.
Kita nak mengukuhkan dan juga meluaskan, we want to strengthen and expand hubungan dan jaringan kerja between MITI and masyarakat. So this is one way we use the NGO. They can be the perantara, they can be the medium for us to reach to the masyarakat. As you know, Bapak Tan Sri, we try our best to reach as much as far as possible in the supply chain, all the way to the entrepreneurs themselves. And we want to focus on supporting not just the big companies, the SMEs, the micro SMEs as well. And now we want to also give focus to the women behind these initiatives or these companies.
He said the initiative is in line with what the ministry wants to do as ASEAN chairman next year to ensure women's involvement in the economy at the ASEAN level. MITI officers across the country will lead the WITI program, providing training and support to women interested in pursuing careers in trade and industry. The government is committed to reducing its borrowings in terms of the debt to gross domestic product GDP ratio to 60% within 5-year time frame, in line with the Public Finance and Fiscal Responsibility Act. Treasury Secretary General Dato' Johan Mahmud Barakan said the matter is crucial to ensure a stronger and more sustainable fiscal position for the nation. The said government has already started reducing the annual net borrowing gradually from about 100 billion ringgit for both 2021 and 2022 to 93 billion ringgit in 2023. It is now targeting 86 billion ringgit in 2024. Among the efforts taken to reduce the annual deficit include retargeting of subsidies, doing away with direct negotiations for government projects in favor of tenders, and exercising greater prudence in expenditure, such as in terms of overseas travel. According to Dato' Johan, the 4 billion ringgit annual savings from the rationalisation of diesel subsidy, which was implemented on June 10th, will contribute towards reducing the government's annual borrowing requirement. He also assured that the government will not reduce the annual fiscal deficit too sharply, given the need to support national development, the infrastructure needs for the rakyat, and support the momentum of economic growth. The Ministry of Plantation and Commodities has urged the Malaysian Rubber Board to formulate a consolidation program to develop abandoned rubber plantations to reduce the nation's dependency on rubber imports. Its Minister, Dato' Sri Johari Abdul Ghani, said to date, the ministry has identified around 420,000 hectares of abandoned rubber plantations nationwide, with a production potential of over 550,000 tons of rubber.
Jadi kalau kita boleh mengeluarkan banyak lagi getah ini sehingga mencecah katakan 800,000 ataupun 1 juta, dan kemungkinan besar kita tak diimport sebanyak itu. Kerana jumlah import yang kita buat pada tahun 2023 ni saya ingat hampir mencecah 5.7 bilion. Tahun 2022 6.5 bilion. So jadi kalau kita dapat keluarkan getah-getah ini untuk digunakan pakai oleh industri kita yang telah berkembang maju ni, maka kita boleh kurangkan import dan secara tak langsung pengeluaran duit negara kita keluar pun akan berkurang.
Datuk Sri Johari highlighted that if the program is successfully implemented, the country can reduce its dependency on natural rubber imports by 50% in the next 10 to 15 years. However, to that end, he said there are several problems that need to be solved, including the issue of rubber plantations overgrown with weeds and bushes. A multi-year property upcycle has been set in motion, driven by the rise in industrial developments, providing developers with a new growth avenue and alleviating pressure on residential developments. Now, Hong Leong Investment Bank Berhad HLIB said the seed of the current rally was sown in 2018 with the start of the US-China trade war. The investment bank, in its research note, said the trade war and rising geopolitical tensions led by global manufacturers to relocate their base in Southeast Asian countries, including Malaysia. These steps were set to manage supply chain risks. As a relatively neutral nation geopolitically, HLIB said Malaysia is benefiting from this trend as seen in the rise in foreign direct investments since 2021. It further noted that the sector's long-term uptrend is also driven by economic development, decentralization, and the rise of second-tier cities, as well as rising land value. For several decades, it said Malaysia's economic development was primarily focused in the Klang Valley, but recently, industrialization and investments have spread to Johor, Pulau Pinang, Sarawak, and Kedah. Global property consultancy Knight Frank has a positive forecast for Kuala Lumpur's prime office rent over the next 12 months, according to its Asia-Pacific APEC Prime Office Rental Index for the second quarter of 2024. In a statement today, it said the data shows a 2.6% year-on-year YOY rise in rents alongside a 0.2% quarterly rise, which suggests a stable and healthy outlook for the market. The statement also said the forecast suggests that the office rental market in Kuala Lumpur is expected to remain stable, reflecting a balanced environment, and this stability is a positive sign for investors and business looking for continuity in their real estate decisions. Knight Frank Malaysia Executive Director of Office Strategy and Solutions, Teh Yang Kin, said along with some take-ups in prime offices within the Kuala Lumpur fringe sub-market, rental and occupancy rates are expected to improve, indicating a positive outlook for the market. On a regional basis, Knight Frank said data shows a 3.1% year-on-year decline in prime office rents, a marginal improvement from the 3.2% drop in first quarter of 2024. Now, according to the property consultancy, although the downward trend extends to 8 consecutive quarters, the slight stabilization suggests that the regional office sector may be approaching a turning point amidst ongoing challenges. Pulau Pinang is poised to solidify its reputation as a global hub for integrated circuit or IC design and digital technologies on the completion of the GBS by the Sea, a state-of-the-art office building, by 1st December this year. Invest Penang said in a statement today that equipped with lab facilities, the 9-story building will house 3 prominent design, research and development, R&D, and engineering services centers, reflecting the state's commitment to attracting and retaining top-tier businesses and talents. It said GBS by the Sea is part of the Penang IC Design and Digital Park launched on 4th May. Offering a net lettable area of 294,000 square feet as well as 830 parking bays. A unique feature of GBS by the Sea is its 2 11-kilovolt kV power substations, making it the first building in Malaysia to offer this advanced infrastructure. In addition, the building boasts a floor loading capacity of 5.0 kilonewton per square meter, which is ideal for housing IC designed and R&D companies. Moreover, the building also meets the standards of a Malaysian digital building, further underscoring its premium facilities and technological capabilities. Invest Penang said that GBS by the Sea is expected to create approximately 3,000 high-value jobs, adding that it will be fully occupied by 3 prominent tenants, AMD, Celestica, and a tech giant from the United States. Sabah has much to offer to the halal industry, given its rich reserves of raw materials and semi-finished goods, alongside its strategic geographical advantages. Halal Development Corporation HDC Chief Executive Officer Hairul Arifin Sahari said its excellent flight connectivity provides vast opportunities for the growth of halal businesses and seamless integration into global halal supply chains, linking Malaysia with key markets such as China, Japan, and South Korea. Hairul Arifin said HDC aims to showcase the potential of Sabah's resources and entrepreneurs to manufacturers in Peninsular Malaysia and worldwide, enabling them to produce high-quality halal products. He stressed that the importance of raw materials and semi-finished goods used in manufacturing processes to be halal certified, adding that HDC is actively seeking suppliers, particularly from Sabah, who are capable of providing certified halal ingredients or semi-finished goods. HDC's primary aim for the halal industry is to contribute 11% to Malaysia's gross domestic product by 2030, with Sabah expected to significantly bolster this contribution. HSBC has forecast Malaysia's gross domestic product GDP growth at 4.5% for 2024, slightly above consensus with an upside risk. Its co-head of Global Research Asia and Chief Asia economist Frederick Newman said the forecast was supported by the country's robust economic performance and the income flows of foreign investments. Newman said Southeast Asian countries, including Malaysia, have continued to perform well in their economies, with no sign of financial stress despite rising interest rates. He also noted that Malaysia's exports were doing quite well, which was surprising given the global backdrop of weaker growth. HSBC has forecast Asia's economy to grow 4.9% for the full year of 2024. Newman said HSBC believes that the U.S. Federal Reserve cutting interest rate will occur this September, which will be a shallow easing cycle for most central banks in the region. It also maintained its view that Bank Negara Malaysia, or BNM, is likely to hold its policy rate at 3.0% in 2024, and recently it removed its call of a 25 basis point rate cut in the first quarter of 2025. For Malaysia, the possibility of a rate hike is higher than a rate cut, although neither is their central case. RHB Investment Bank Berhad foresees that Bursa Malaysia Berhad could post a robust net profit between 75 million ringgit to 85 million ringgit for the second quarter of this year, underpinned by robust securities and derivatives market performances. Commenting further on the matter in a research note issued today, the bank also opined that such performances could continue, given expectations of further structural reforms and positive domestic-centric news flow. Hence, RHB Investment maintained a buy call for the stock exchange with a target price of 11 ringgit 25 sen. While the share price has risen 44% year-to-date, the bank thinks that continued securities market strength, along with the potential announcement of special dividends, could provide further uplift. RHB Investment also assumed that there would be no special dividends at this juncture. Bursa Malaysia's net profit rose by 33.6% to 75.03 million ringgit in the first quarter of this year from 56.17 million ringgit in the same period of last year. There is a strong optimism about the immense potential of Malaysia-China relations for the next 50 years, which are currently at the level of a comprehensive strategic partnership. Now, since the formal establishment of diplomatic relations in 1974, the first 50 years have been both countries build a strong and significant relationship in various fields, primarily driven by the economic and investment sectors. Looking ahead to the next 5 decades and beyond, analysts are optimistic that the relationship between the two countries has significant room and opportunities for further development and exploration for mutual benefit and prosperity. Geostrategist Professor Dr. Azmi Hassan said that although Kuala Lumpur's relationship with Beijing is not without its challenges, it should be maintained based on the country's policy of neutrality and non-alignment. He said Malaysia-China relations have always been based on mutual trust and a win-win situation. This dispels the perception that Malaysia favors China in geopolitical matters. In reality, he said, Malaysia is close to both China and the United States to ensure that trade activities are not disrupted by the geopolitical rivalry between China and the US. The Kuala Lumpur rubber market closed lower today, influenced by the downtrend in the regional rubber futures markets and weaker advice in benchmark crude oil prices. Now, according to a dealer, the market sentiment was also pressured by the uncertainty in the United States-US politics and concerns over the Chinese economy, coupled with a stronger ringgit against the US dollar. She said West Texas Intermediate WTI crude prices fell today, reaching their weakest levels since mid-June as expectations of a supply surplus and uncertainty over demand continued to chip away at sentiment. Meanwhile, she noted that China's fiscal revenue was reported to slide 2.8% in the first half of 2024 from a year earlier, unchanged from a 2.8% fall in January-May period, as prolonged weakness in domestic demand dampened the outlook for an economic recovery. Nevertheless, the dealer said further losses were capped by concerns over tight natural rubber supply in the major producing countries, amid growing optimism for the U.S. interest rate cut in September. The Malaysian Rubber Board's MRB price for Standard Malaysian Rubber 20 (SMR 20) decreased by 7 sen to 770.00 sen per kilogram, while latex in bulk was down by 2.5 sen to 613.5 sen per kilogram. At 5 p.m., the MRB reference price for physical SMR 20 stood at 765.5 sen per kilogram, while latex in bulk was at 616.5 sen per kilogram. Bursa Malaysia rebounded from yesterday's heavy profit-taking to end higher as investors resumed nibbling in selected blue chips amid the mostly weaker performance in the regional bursas. Now at 5 p.m., the FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI FBM KLCI rose 7.61 points or 0.47% to 1,629.68 from Monday's close of 1,622.07. The key index, which opened 3.16 points higher at 1,625.23, moved between 1,625.23 and 1,632.50 throughout the day. On the broader market, gainers surpassed losers 685 to 458, with 502 counters unchanged, 826 untraded, and 16 others suspended. Turnover slid to 5.11 billion units worth 3.59 billion ringgit from Monday's 5.34 billion units worth 3.42 billion ringgit. Rakuten Trades and Berhad Equity Research Vice President Thong Pak Leng said the FBM KLCI rebounded as investors resumed buying in selected blue chips after yesterday's significant profit-taking. Thong expects the benchmark index to trend within the 1,610-1,640 range for the rest of the week. Meanwhile, the key regional indexes finished mostly lower as profit-taking continued in certain bourses while buying interest remained in technology stocks. Well, that concludes this evening's Malaysia Tonight. In our top story, WhatsApp, Telegram operators must be more responsible. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm Otto Othman. Thanks for watching.